Hello, everyone. Welcome to the trip. I am DWDT. This is the show. Yeah, and we got Tony Turner in the house. How you doing, Tony?
I'm doing all right. Trying to figure out why you don't know what show you're doing, given what you're doing too.
I was thinking about what I was gonna say, but yes, you're right. And next to or below him, you've got Spencer. Spencer, how you doing?
Doing good. It seemed like you were either A, enjoying the music, or B, did not know what show we were on. So it's okay.
I was enjoying the music. I always enjoy the music.
Yeah, the bumper music is what there to be enjoyed. It's not just
Yes.
there to fill space.
Yes. Yeah, I try to pick songs that I like, and if you can see behind the scenes, I'm bumping my head the entire time. So yes, I'm enjoying it. Well, yes, it is Monday. Is it April 28th, the day before the day? But I will
Hey,
the day before the day. Yes, Arsenal is 3 wins from a Champions League, from a Champions League trophy, 2 wins from a two-legged affair from a final. But they didn't have a game this weekend. But Arsenal did have a game on Wednesday against Crystal Palace, and we'll say hi to a couple of people, and then we'll get into that, and then move on to what everybody probably wants to talk about, which is um, what's next. But I guess this is we can start and say hello to Mr. Tom. He's for some reason he's cheering Leeds. I think Leeds had a good day today. I think they won 4-0 again, I believe. Or yeah, 4-0. Two late goals from one of their youngsters to definitely finish off Bristol City, but a good day for him. They are now a Burnley loss, I believe it is, or a win from topping the league and getting a trophy. So, I know he's happy. Anything on these you guys want to talk about?
yeah, hopefully they don't do what Leicester did last season and this season.
Well, they're in the Premier League, so they're not gonna, they haven't fallen apart like Leicester. They've actually gone the opposite direction. So maybe they got one more game to seal it. So there you go. And I think Leicester actually won the league, right? So they didn't.
Yeah.
So there you go. And what you got here? Gary not knowing what show he's on. Imagine my I am not shocked expression. There you go. Yeah. I was hesitating because I didn't know what I was going to say. I usually have it planned out and I usually just rolls off the tongue. I guess I went, you know, tongue just went dead. Should I unleash a Burnley stat? Do you have a Burnley stat?
No, no, not yet, at least. I thought this was a Premier League show, not a.
Well, Burnley is in the Premier League as of last week. So
That's true. That
so
is true.
But they're not there now, Gary.
hey, they're there. It doesn't matter when they get there; they're there, right? So, but yes,
True.
Arsenal home to Crystal Palace. Um, I still I still believe that Arsenal should be trying to, you know, continue to win, try to secure the second place finish, not because it's a trophy, okay? Not, you don't get anything for it, but I think it's good mental. It's good for the mentality. See the season out and finish strong is kind of more the case. Finish strong. We're gonna need it. I think all these games that we play in between now and any UCL game is a plus. I think everybody needs it. Anybody who played needs it, except for if you saw the game this weekend, you probably go, not probably not. Got B.S. Gunner in the house. Welcome to the show. And there you go. And Spencer talking to Mr. Tom in the chat. So, all right, Mr. Tony,
Yes.
Crystal Palace. How'd you feel about the game?
Disappointed like I have about the last 8 or 10 games now. It feels like we're trying to beat the draw record, which stands at 17. And that's when you didn't have 20 teams. You had more teams than 20 teams. And 17 was the record. So crawling up there like we were here with Emery. We were sitting there at 14, but we're at 14 in like February or something. Now it just piled on real quick. Added up in a hurry.
Yeah.
And the league went away. Liverpool's champion, so all we can do is try to win the Champions League to salvage a season.
Yep. 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 Well, the problems we had at the first half of the season, we're having at the end of in the second half of the season. We just can't put teams away when we take leads, and that's been our problem all season. And not much you can do, Spence, huh?
I know a solution for that, Gary.
We'll talk about the solution in a little bit. So hold that thought. Write it down. Don't forget it. Spencer, Crystal Palace, another draw. Another draw.
PSG?
Crystal Palace, another draw. Arsenal ahead once again, and not able to close the door.
I thought I heard you say PSG. I'm sorry. Let me go back.
We haven't talked since the Crystal.
We did. We talked Saturday.
Well, not on this show.
No, that's true. All right. So what did I say on Saturday?
You don't have to repeat the same thing. Your mind can take whatever it had before, and it can. You don't have to regurgitate the same thing. Actually, it's probably better you don't, because you probably have learned some things about either how you felt about the game or not. So, how do you feel about that game?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't thought about it since Saturday.
Oh.
But I'll do this for comedic pod. Comedic I don't know the word right now. You know what I think about it? I think it sucked. That's exactly what I think. 13 draws on the season. That one, Saliba and Raya, what are you doing there? That's what I don't get. What are we doing here? We're losing the ball. I got my goalkeeper playing center back at the same time. I don't like that, but that's why we blew that game, because we got too cute.
We're blaming this one on Saliba. I know everybody wants to add Raya onto the pile, but
he was nowhere near his position, Gary. Let's not get ourselves here.
90%.
It's all Saliba.
90% of it goes to Saliba. In my eyes, I know the goalkeeper plays high, but we always play high. That pass is nowhere near anybody in a Arsenal top in regards to where it was positioned. It was, either it was a high risk pass or whatever it was. We've seen it before, and we've seen it either from Raya making a pass to one of our defenders, putting them under the gun. We've seen poor passes from our defenders, right? And it's supposed to go 5 feet, it only goes 2 feet, kind of thing, or it's off. So I feel like we've seen this before, and I think it's just a caveat of playing out the back, right? And it's not, and Saliba has been kind of losing his attention to detail. It's not just the first time for him. So, and I think he doesn't have his running mate with him, and that might be a little bit to do with that as well.
Feels like he needs to get pickpocketed again.
Yeah, no, I mean, as people said, is he ready? Is he ready to lead a back line yet? Probably not, which is fine. He doesn't need to right now, but he's getting there.
I think what he's doing is he's making mistakes, so Real Madrid doesn't want him anymore.
Don't do that, please, because we got 3 games in the Champions League where we need him to be perfect.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No, it's Coyg starts the thing off. Very nice header. I think it was who passed it to him. I think it was Odegaard, and who's having everybody's. We'll talk about Erdogan as well. Everybody's going after him as well. I'm a little bit on that train as well. But Coyg has shown up, and for me, I think Coyg showing up is one because Arteta actually has had to use him, and you wonder why he hasn't been using him. And I don't, and it can't be, well, you know what, these guys are healthy, they get to play. At some point, they need to rotate, and based on the way he's playing, the way he's played, he deserved more minutes than he was getting, and he deserved to play in a position that he was comfortable in and can and actually contribute to the squad. What are you going to say, Tony?
Was it say 21 starts for Arsenal and 0 losses for Kivior?
Yeah, we're gonna. I don't want to keep saying that over and over again. We're trying to jinx that one. In at the end of the season, when hopefully we put our arms up in the air because we win a trophy, maybe you can say it. But right now, no more. For me, anyways. I don't want to. I don't even want to think it.
I just want our chat to hear put that on airways. Just have like this deja vu moment. Oh, I need to play Kivior more.
Well, I think he should be
Listen
playing.
into his existence daily.
Yeah, I think he should be playing a lot of his players a little bit more. I think the trust and confidence in all of his players shouldn't be something where like, why doesn't? Yeah, this is something we know. We knew, like Kirio, not Kirio, but in Weary, right? We need to see more.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to see more of him, and build up his confidence. I mean, he's what 100 days younger than Miles Lewis Skelly, so it's not like they have a big age difference between the two. And we've seen what Miles Lewis Skelly is doing. He doesn't need to start every game, but he should be getting minutes. I think, not sitting out for like what seems like a month and getting barely any minutes. Spencer, I don't know how you feel about. I'm happy to see Kyrgios doing what he's doing, and as BBK Sports there, he surprised me. Just being honest, yeah, no, it's a wonder that we do a lot of. I always talk about talent ID and whether we have it or not. And usually the case is, it sounds like we do. We just don't ever play them in that position. Like, who's to know if Miles Lewis Skelly isn't a better 8 than he is a left fullback, right? A left back, right? Who's to know whether or not Inweri is a better 10 than a left wing, right? And these are their preferred positions. Spencer, tell me.
What's your question? You weren't
We're putting players out of position and then wondering why sometimes they're not succeeding. And then when we put them in their preferred position, they succeed, and we're like, "What the world?" As a fan base, we're like, "Wow, okay." No, it's not a problem, I think, but
yeah, I mean, it's kind of like putting the circle in the circle and the square in the square on that little toy you had as a kid.
That's exactly what it's not. It's like putting a small circle in a big box. Yes, it fits, but there's a lot of gaps in there where you're like, damn, I would like to fill out and get every ounce of what I can out of this talent that I have.
No,
I mean, what you get.
I mean, I think I still don't know what the question is. I mean, I think I'll interpret it like this.
You're not listening to me then.
I am listening to you, but I don't know what you're going about on this one, because I was just looking in the background here and I see this beautiful Arsenal versus PSG win probabilities, and I'm sitting here talking about Crystal Palace. I feel you. I'm just excited about tomorrow, Gary. I'm like an immature little child right now. I can't keep on focus. The teacher's trying to talk about reading and arithmetic, and I'm thinking about Christmas morning. I'm just going to be honest with you.
It's only been 15 minutes. We have more than enough time. We can spend an hour talking about the next game.
I'm excited about it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm excited about players playing in the right position.
That's what that's what I hope. That's what I hope. That's what I hope that we get.
Yeah. And that's a bad thing to me, because we've been drawing these games. Might as well have been losing them in the league. But
I'll never understand somebody who tells me I'd rather have my team lose.
Because it's a 1-point difference. I would rather lose trying very hard with younger players, experimenting with where they probably should be at, than doing what we're doing. I mean, it's a 1-point difference. I'd rather go down fighting than just go down with a whimper.
Looks like Mr. Tom is heading out to get some rest, so have a good night. I hear what you're saying, but I'm not. I think anybody who's out there should be disappointed if they don't get a win, regardless of whether they're learning something for the first time or not.
You ain't first, you're last.
So that's kind of how I feel about it. Like, and DWTT stands for what, Tony?
I know what it stands for. Don't waste the trip. But
Exactly. So if I'm going to put somebody out there, I don't want to put them out there thinking, you know what, if they get a loss, it's okay because they just got experience. I want the experience, but I also want them to be striving to get that win as well.
But you're not gonna get the experience. You got a striker on there that's been on the team sheet. He hasn't played, Gary. We seen what happened. Skelly didn't play last year. Guess what? He back Calafieri.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't ready last year.
Skelly's better than Calafieri. He's good enough to play some, Gary. Are you telling me he's not good enough for the league?
Maybe he wasn't ready last year because he's definitely ready now. And you know what?
Yes, Gary.
You don't know that. Were you there watching him in the under 20s or whatever he was in?
I believe.
Were you watching Saka before he got his chance to come up? Were you watching that?
Tony is an under 15s and under 21s connoisseur. Okay.
No, I'm just saying if you were watching them, if you were watching them, yeah.
On the Arsenal app or the website, it used to be a lot easier to track the youth. Not they made it difficult. But to answer your question, Gary, no, I wasn't watching Saga before Emery plucked him out and started playing him.
So I mean the managers know, and I was going to say hello before we continue on. Got 4-0 down. Check him out. Thanks for joining us. Yes, you have a blessed day too, my man. Tom's going to watch some wrestling. That's what it is. But you know what? I don't know if Tom's listening to us, but I will talk about that Leon game as well because that is a Champions League. He wanted to talk about Champions League. We'll talk about that, and then we'll move on to the big one. But Spencer, you had something you wanted to say?
I couldn't see the women's game yesterday either.
You couldn't see it?
No, it's on DAZN Network, whatever that is.
That's free, dude.
Is it?
It's just like YouTube. You just gotta get an account and you're in. Women's
That's
sport.
Good to know yesterday.
Women's football. Well, have you not been watching them all season?
So
there goes that's the thing. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, if there's anything I'm not gonna do, Gary, I'm not gonna lie. So, but I'll try to watch the final. Support the girls. And I saw the highlights. So somebody had a Saliba moment on Leon's team. So
yes, they did. Yes, they. Well, I kind of they had a couple of moments like that. A couple of moments that they probably want to take back. We've got Godfrey in the house. Thanks for joining us, Godfrey. Everybody, if you've joined us, hit the likes and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, there was I watched the game. I did a watch along with Ryan and Catherine.
Yeah, I hit up on the watch along a little bit. Like I was out to dinner with my parents, so I was unable to watch. So
yeah, no. It's a good game to watch. I was pretty confident that the women would actually play a better game than they did the first time because they left a little bit on the table in that first match. I mean, they lost 2-1, but they kind of they had enough opportunities, and similar to Leon, they kind of made some mistakes that gave Leon opportunities to score, and they did. Pretty much that the two big opportunities they had for me, they got, and Arsenal women weren't able to do that the other way around, or else it pretty much could have been a draw, if not could have been a 3-2 win for Arsenal in that one. And we saw what they did in the next match, which they did in a previous round. Came out a little bit flat, and then said, you know what, attention to detail. And I think for me, once again, this is one of those things. They had a lot of their better players in that second game, and they were able to put it away. Russo got more involved in the game. Chloe Kelly was involved, started this time around. And pretty much all the top attackers basically contributed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got Mariana Caldente with a strike from just outside the box. Chloe Kelly was doing her thing. Russo with a finish after a couple. They had two mistakes, right? They had the one that Ford was able to just put away, and then they had the one where the ball they just couldn't stop the ball from moving towards their goal, and Russo was able to put it away with a nice strike towards the far post. Goalkeeper got a hand on it, but not enough strength. Not enough strength.
So, question, and I'm reading about the game real quick. How do I say this? If the women, nah, I don't want to ask that question because it's dumb. Carry on, Gary. It's
If the women what? Come
it
on.
was a dumb what if. Like if the women win and the men find a way to win, what's the state of the club? Well, obviously it's a good state because the women are winning, the men are winning. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
kind of a stupid question. So.
Well, no, it's interesting because not only are the women just finished off a team from France, right? The men will be having their opportunity now to finish off a team from France.
I feel confident.
And the next round, if they make it, they could have both. I could have an Arsenal Barcelona final in both the men and the women. So interesting, especially if they're able to win both of them as well. That'd be women would get their second Champions League, the second for England. They're the only ones to do it. So there you go. And men will get their first.
The mighty Chelsea have not bought one yet.
They have not been able to get one. Nope.
Interesting.
Nope. No. And
but you'd be really doing yourself a disservice here because there was one strike I saw. She put it in the top corner. I can't remember who it was.
That's what I said. Mariana Caldente took a strike from just outside the box.
If you haven't seen
top bins, it was really nice.
We're doing a disservice. It was a really good job.
Gary's getting angry with this.
No, I brought it up. I didn't put the fireworks and the lights and all of that with it. But no, it was a.
Can I ask my question, Gary?
What is your
me or him?
No, to Gary.
Okay.
What's a striker?
What's a striker?
Person who strikes the ball.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, we haven't had one for 5 years, so I was.
We're talking about the women right now. Tony.
Yeah, the women have a striker, but they also have a lot of attackers that do a good job striking the ball too. So, yeah, I mean the men are like if you look at the way that the women have built up their squad and the way the men have, I mean, when they lost Vivian and Miedema, it looked like wow, you just let one of the top attackers in the world go, and they've since brought in Mariana Caldente, who's kind of like made it and she came in for free, right? Chloe Kelly's right now on a loan. Russo came in the year before. She's striker from Manchester United. I mean, they've done a good job reloading after losing some players, and Mead is there, right? I mean, they've got top players, that lead their teams, right? The men aren't there yet in terms of that, especially in the attack. Defensively, they're kind of similar to the women, but up top, still like a little bit behind in regards to the talent that they brought in. So
it's kind of like Star Wars. Attack!
No, they definitely can attack. I mean, it's then you've got. I mean, she got women of the match, Kim Little, but I thought she was a little iffy in the game, but she won women of the match. And if you look at a lot of what she was doing, the game was a lot easier because she was there. So similar to a Partey that keeps the ball moving up the pitch when he's on, the same thing they got there. She does that, keeps that ball moving up the pitch, and then they're a strong defensive back line. I mean, yeah. The one thing they didn't have in the first leg was their starting goalkeeper, and if that made a difference because there was some saves and stuff made by Daphne, DVD as we call her sometimes, or some people call her, and so yeah. Now it's a wonder if they either made a change and brought in the new manager sooner. Because basically they've been one of the top teams in the world, essentially, or definitely in Europe, since Renee has been taking the reins. So yeah. They're 6 points back at Chelsea with I think it's 2 matches to go. But yeah, and they have a better goal difference. So if it, they still have a chance, but it's Chelsea has shown it the resiliency to keep come back no matter what happens. So more than likely they're going to come up short once again. But no, it was a good match for the women. They've moved on. They're going to be in Lisbon playing against Barcelona. So
When's the final again?
I believe it's in 2 weeks. I think they get a 2-week break before the women play, I believe.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, because their season ends pretty soon. So they have a game tomorrow, probably one on the weekend, and then one more game, I think, or that might be it. So yeah, no, they can finish strong. And the one thing people are saying, Renee should get an extension. Right now, she got like a 1.5 year contract. So
Mm-hmm.
so people are saying hold on to her.
Well, that's the manager.
That's the manager. Yeah. She's been pretty good. She's got them playing well, and they're gonna need to reload in some spots, but in general, they've got a good squad going there. So yeah, that was the women. So let's move on. We've got
Spencer. Check out my group chat.
Check out the group chat.
Give me a second. I'm getting flashbacks, and I'm gonna snitch on myself here one time. I got invited to. Oh, there you go. That's wild. Yep. So, I've never seen that before.
You've never seen what before?
Someone rip off someone's fake leg and use it as a weapon.
Oh.
So I go back to an All Arsenal show. I got invited on Ryan's one time, and I had no idea the All Arsenal show was the women's game and the men's game. I was prepared to just speak to the men's game, and as soon as they started talking the women's game, I quickly was like, I need to go watch the highlights. I never felt more unprepared. I was never asked back on. Naturally, you can ask Ryan about this. I don't think it was done on purpose, but I had no idea it was the women's game discussing. And Tom was like, "It's the All Arsenal show." I was like, "Well, I didn't know it meant that." So I felt like a big dummy. I winged it a little bit. I can't remember her name. G asked me. She goes, "What'd you think of Blackstenius?" And I'm like, I think she did really good. I think she looked really good. And I'm searching. Who is this? I was so embarrassed. I didn't know. Yeah. I had no idea.
You're like, please don't didn't have a terrible game.
Listen, I was like, please don't ask me to go too far. Keep this surface level as possible. And I don't know if they know, but they know now. Obviously now they know. So if they see it, but like I said, I would have liked to know, and I could have watched the game for free yesterday. I did look for it. I would have watched it to support them. I will watch the final. Looking forward to it for them. That's good. I think it's really good that both clubs are, women and the men are this far along in that process. I think that's a good thing. Not just for women's sports or whatever, but just in general for the club. It's good vibes, right? It's got to be good vibes. Winning breeds winning.
Oh yeah. We've got Miss Melina in the house. Welcome to the show, Miss Melina. Yeah.
And I would be fair with you. I blame this beautiful lady over here. If she watched more of the women's game, I'd be watching every single one of them. But she doesn't want to watch them, so I'm sorry, guys.
You can't blame your wife for anything. Stop that. I know that's.
Listen, I tried to get her to go to DC last summer to watch Arsenal and Chelsea. You know how close I am to DC, gents. Holly said no.
Yeah.
I would have gone.
You could have just taken her.
I've never taken a woman anywhere against my will. I think that's illegal in like 50 states and probably the rest of the world.
No, Spencer said against his will. Against her will.
Yeah, there's a valid point on that. But no, I'm really, all jokes aside and embarrassment of myself, I am happy for him. I did watch the highlights, and I would have watched it if I'd have known it was free. But that's okay. Lesson learned. And we march on.
True. Because Gunnar says here, there's so many great players on the women's team that I've taken to watching them as much as the men. Yeah, no, it's watching the women's game is like that. The women's team looks, pretty much close to done in terms of they've got a very strong team starting wise, and like they can rotate and not drop off at all. When they drop, they take some players off the pitch, so they're pretty. Probably about 13 or 14 strong players deep, and then they have another set of players that they can bring on for different situations. So. Really, really good squad building there.
So they're going to keep that Chloe Kelly? Didn't she on loan or something?
I don't know why they would not. She doesn't want to be at Manchester City. So
Manchester City fans don't want to be at Manchester City.
So I think, yeah. No, I think if Arsenal has a choice in the matter, I think they will play. They should want to keep her. She's been really good. Her and Mead. I think that's the problem. I think that's the thing. Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do. One of them is going to play on the other side because I think they play on the same side. So, yeah, that's the problem there. But no, women are on to the final. We'll see them in Lisbon. Men start their ride tomorrow against PSG at home. Everybody is thinking that PSG, because we beat them, all right, 2-0. But they were missing players now, so it's months later, and let me finish what I gotta say. Now people think that we'll say hi to Anders. Hey Anders, thanks for joining us. Yeah, soon we got 100. Oh yeah, Leeds are one win away from 100. Could have two teams in the hundreds in the championship, and only one gets the win. But the PSG game, yes. Everybody's saying that PSG is going to, has some of their players back that didn't play in the last game. I think Arsenal it might be missing some players, but I think the way we're playing, we're not really missing much. And I've said it all year. Our defense has been solid, and we lean on that a lot, and that's done us wonders. So I don't see why we wouldn't do that again. Tony, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say that they've gelled a lot from that. They're a super young team. I remember because they had them as one of the 12 best teams in Europe at the time, and I didn't think they were. They are now, but I still don't think they were then. We played
talent-wise, they must have been. They were missing two of their top players when they played us. Two of their good players, like Dembele didn't play, and I think another one of their solid players was one of their starters was missing as well. So they were down at least a couple of players.
And early in the season with new young players, you're not gelled as much as you are later on, which makes a difference.
It's made a difference for us, right? Everybody tell you you're gonna lose Gabriel, you're gonna lose Havertz, you're gonna lose Saka, you're gonna lose Erdegaard, you're gonna lose Ben White. You're not gonna get an informed Declan Rice to start the season. You're gonna lose Jesus, all right? You're gonna lose all those players and still sit where you sit, right? I don't think everybody would have thought that would have happened, So yeah, no, I think Arteta's done a good job. He just needs more pieces, and he'll improve in his coaching and stuff. As I've said it, I just saw his score. The Miami Heat basically looks like they just rolled over. They're down 3 in the playoffs. They are losing 17-43 right now.
There you go. They got 43, right? No, just kidding. Sorry.
It looks like they're done. They're done. It looks like. But yeah, no.
I'm feeling weirdly confident about tomorrow. And maybe it's just blind stupidity. Maybe it's just.
It's the things that you've seen. I look at what the trend is. The defense is strong.
Yeah.
The defense is something we can lean on. So until that changes, which it hasn't all season, I'm going to keep leaning on it. Yeah. And Saka's going to get better each time he plays, and we've seen it.
I got a feeling I feel like we're gonna go heading out like a 3-4-0 lead tomorrow. I just really do. I don't know why.
Mm.
Something tells me we're going to be able to get at them. They're going to cause us issues because they're talented offensively, but I got this weird, and maybe it's just blind homerism for Arsenal. I really feel confident about tomorrow. I feel a lot better after seeing what we did to Real Madrid and knowing how we were set up defensively to know that. I don't know, man. I'm just being a blind loyalist at this point to what.
I don't think it's blind. You've watched your team play in the European tournament. I mean, what have you
Don't
not?
think they're
What
supposed
have
to be
what
on.
have you not liked about it? Like you've liked. I think we've liked pretty much all of their games. They're not. Nobody's been able to blow them out. The games that they lost was on a controversial
Yeah.
PK. Right. I mean, other than that, they've been pretty solid. They've had clean sheets in pretty much all
I am
around.
slightly worried. BX's comment is spot on of where I feel about one player being out, and that's Partey being out. That does worry me a little bit. Like I said, I still think there's other players that can get the job done. I don't know if you're doing Moreno as an 8 or Rice as an 8 or Moreno as a 6. I don't know what you're going to do there. I'd hate to take Moreno off the front line, but you have to have a midfield, and you have to be able to maintain that, or you will get exposed.
Is Jorginho not sure?
He's not. He's still got his
Yeah.
ribs. So
I mean, you could. I think you could really because I don't think Calafiore's healthy. I don't think he is. So I think you could probably get away with if Ben White's healthy, make him play right back, make Timber play left back, and make Skelly play the 6.
yeah, people. I mean, I think. Yeah, I mean, I don't know
That's what I
why we
do.
would. That's what I would do as well. I think he's shown that he can stand up and contribute no matter where you put him. If you put him where he's comfortable and he's playing in that spot when he inverts anyways. Now you
Yeah.
just tell him you don't have to move as much, right? And that just allows you to switch things up if you have to, right? When your fullback kind of overlaps, now you've got another left back or left 8 that basically can pull back and support you there. So defensively you were strong, right? And then we know he can move the ball up the pitch as well. So I think there's a lot of good answers for Arteta. Will he take the risk of saying, you know what, I'll put a player in his comfortable position and see how he does, and then not affect. I rather what I see happening is we're going to move around like 3 players as opposed to maybe just 2. You know what I mean? Like Moreno getting moved back, Rice getting moved back at one spot, right? And then bringing in Trossard as opposed to, guess what? Just bring in, if Ben White's healthy, bring him in and then move Skelly to the middle and nothing else changes. Right. I like minimal changes from one game to the next, especially if you can. I mean, when we make 3 and 4 moves, I think that's when you kind of lose a little bit of that continuity from game to game. Moreno's doing really good, and he'll come back and support anyways, right? So you're not going to lose that. So I don't know. I just feel like that would be, especially at home, we need to take advantage of everything we can.
Yeah.
And that would be one way to do that at home. You always have to. You're going to get Partey when you go back. So yeah, if you have to defend a little bit better, I say why not?
Score what you can now, get a lead, and then shut down shop when you go back there. Kind of do what you did against Real Madrid and close it out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a world where they lose tomorrow. I mean, it's always possible. But I mean, the Partey thing bothers me, but I've seen enough from Martinelli and Saka and Odegaard over the last 2 or 3 weeks to feel confident that we can get some out of this as far as offensively. I mean, if it wasn't for Courtois, I mean, you're talking the first leg could have been 4-5-6-0. I mean, that's not crazy. And then in the Porto game, Porto. Was it Porto? No. PSV, sorry. In the PSV game, you went up 7-0. I mean, it's not crazy. I mean, I don't know, man. I just think there's something weird about this team that just feels destined to do well in this competition. Like I said, I still feel worried about the final. Obviously, you have to win this one to worry about the final, but I mean, I feel confident. And
I think we're stronger in this tournament than we are in the
Yeah.
Premier League. I mean,
100%.
it's a lot. We can definitely be more of an aggressor there. Base Gunner says, yeah. I mean, he's thinking Trossard will start, which is probably more likely. But yeah. I mean, my thing, and I've said this multiple times, Trossard is good, but can he produce multiple back-to-back games? The fact that he didn't play in the last two matches, in terms of, I believe, as a starter, right? Wait, no, he did
he
start the
scored
last
the
one.
goal Wednesday.
You start,
Two
he did.
two goals.
He,
2 goals.
he scored one goal, but we only scored one goal on Wednesday. And Kiwior did the header to start, right?
Yes,
You're counting the Ipswich game, right, Tony?
Yeah.
Oh, you kind of okay. The Ipswich game. Oh, okay.
No, it still matters. It's still part of the story. Yeah.
Yeah. I just his consistency in back-to-back and back games is kind of it might be good that he hasn't played every game, consistently as a starter. So
I still disagree with you, Gary, because he had 6 goals in the final 10 games last year.
no, but that's last year. This is it's a totally different year. I hear what you're saying. This year, not so much.
Strikers and attackers need one thing. They need the repetitiveness of being out there, because it takes them a while. Even though you've shot the ball into a goal a million times,
Yeah.
you still gotta know how fast somebody's gonna pass you the ball, know the runs the guy likes to pass you to, blah blah blah. And you can't do that when you're sitting on the bench.
He's not our starter for me, even now. Like like Jesus is healthy. He would be sitting behind Jesus, and Jesus actually looked good when he was healthy for us. What Jesus gives us, Trossard can't. Right. So like I know you like Trossard, but like for me and what we've seen from Moreno right now, if we were healthy and we actually had to lean on Moreno for whatever because we had injuries and stuff, he would be our third option. And it's and we wouldn't have seen it, of course, because Arteta probably would have never moved him to striker. But based on what we've seen, he's doing what we want, right? Right. Speaks kind of says losing Moreno up top, but losing him up top hurts us a little bit if we're going to get the attack. But maybe what, Saka. I think it was the Ipswich game where he was smiling a little too much for me when he was missing those shots. Maybe
Saka Martinelli is what you're going to rely on.
Maybe Saka will redeem himself and put that ball on target in this one. Yeah, Declan
you got to maintain that midfield. I think that's the key right there. The midfield has to stay solid, and you're really going to rely on. I think you can get away with Trossard starting tomorrow, and then if you need to change things up, you can change things up, and you can move Moreno up top. But you're going to expect Saka Martinelli workhorse game. You could take someone off depending on how things go for Nwery if you wanted to. I think midfield starting, you got to figure out who your 6 is going to be tomorrow. That's the big question mark now.
It's only Rice. We don't have another option. We have no other option.
You have another option. It's Miles Lewis-Skelly, but it leaves you short on the back line.
He's not a 6 though. He's an 8.
He can still play 6 though.
Now you're going to play him out of position. Like seriously out of position.
Well, hold on. What do you think happens when he inverts? He plays kind of a 6 role.
Yeah.
Go look at his player positioning. He plays.
I'd rather push him to 8.
That whole left back inversion role. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. The whole inversion role creates like an extra 6 right in the midfield if you look at it. Go ahead, Tony. Sorry.
I was going to say, looking at him, he's a defensive player. I don't think it too much matters in defense where you put him. He's a defend.
There you go. BX has said it. This is perfect, actually.
Yeah.
Tierney can play left back with MLS in the midfield, and Timber. And Tierney will play really good defense. That's actually not a bad shout, VX. I like it.
Like I said, I'd rather have less movement, and moving Moreno back creates 3-player movements. So
Well,
we're
this way
talking-
you could keep Moreno up top.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
my thing is, I told you I'd rather have only 2 movements instead of 3. Because Trossard, for me, I'd rather have Moreno up top.
Yes.
I know, I believe Tierney or or White, depending on who's healthy enough, we wouldn't miss a beat. It wouldn't, it wouldn't be as big of a drop off if we did that and moved Skelly up top into the midfield. If that's what we're gonna do. But I doubt it. But that's what I'd rather just have the 2 movements instead of 3. That's all. We just move. When I see that, what I see is the ball getting stuck in midfield to some degree and never making it up to the front line as much as we would like.
Well, here's what you can do. You can always do this too. You could have Oslo Skelly play left back, Kivy or Gabriella Timber. You could run Rice as your 6, Zinchenko as your 8, Odegaard as your 8, Martinelli, Moreno, and then Saka. I had a brain fart there. You could always do that. And then if you need to, you can adjust if it's not going well. But the key tomorrow at bare minimum is not concede anything at all. Bare minimum.
Mhm.
And then get a goal or 2 and send it back to them and put the pressure on them.
Yeah.
Don't go back tied up to their spot. I know they always say that PSG is the paper tiger of Europe, but I think this PSG team's a little bit it's a Messi-less, Mbappe, starless team that's got, there's some players on there, Hakimi and Dembele and the kid from Napoli that moved over. So there's talent there, but it's not how Real Madrid looks unbalanced now with Mbappe there. It's more of a team game with PSG, I think, now where, and they're coming off a defeat too. So,
Yeah, I think that's the difference the difference is the way that we play. When we have a little drop off in form, we're getting draws. I think a lot of teams, when they have a little drop off in form, they're getting L's, right? That's kind of how I see that one going. I think PSG, is having losses. I think was it Inter struggle? I can't remember who struggled, but I think I guess everybody's looking towards the Champions League. My thing is we're going into that Crystal Palace game. People were talking about maybe we shouldn't have started all the players that we did because they didn't come in mentally prepared to play that game.
You would have
it would have been, and it would have, no, but the reason why is because they probably didn't get much out of that game because they were playing so poorly. So like you talk about the mentality and stuff like that, like mentally it probably didn't help them at all. It might have been physically nice to get them out there running about and stuff like that, but mentally the way they were playing, they didn't look like they wanted to be there. Like they were looking ahead already, and you don't want that either. Like you can bring them in the second half and give them some minutes if you want to get a sweat on and stuff like that, but the way they played that game, they didn't want to be there. And maybe you bring some hungry players out there that you can get a feel of how they're going to do. Like maybe you put Skelly in the midfield, right? Maybe you see if Tierney can give you some minutes. If Ben White's healthy, maybe he gets a start and comes out at half or something like that, right? So you have options. So that's kind of how I felt about that one.
I think it really turned into a training match more than anything from them, just to keep the fitness levels up.
Yeah, but it was a poor training match, is what I'm trying to say, because it did, mentally it didn't help.
Well, I think the problem you would have had also, I think if they had a weekend game, it probably changes who starts on that Wednesday, right? But because
he didn't. So but I'm saying putting him out there just to put him out there doesn't, sometimes maybe they needed that break. Because they've been up for these games, right? They've been up for these international games.
They all need a break right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tony. Sorry.
I was saying they all need a break right now. All of them battling injuries.
Yeah.
Too much games going on. I mean, we'll find out tomorrow whether it was the right move or not. That's the benchmark tomorrow, right?
Exactly.
If they get the result and no one gets injured, then it was the right move. But if
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I have no doubt they will come to play because they always come to play in these kind of affairs. I just don't think like I've said before, Arsenal taking their foot off the gas, they just stop. They can't take their foot off the gas. They just stop. They just it's more like handbrake on kind of thing as opposed to taking it down a notch. In my eyes,
They don't know the right pedal from the left pedal, Gary.
I don't know if it's that. It's more like when you go in there and the objective is to get something out of the game, and but when we take a step back, we take a big step back, and it's like you're not getting anything out of this. These guys are more likely going to get injured than they are going to get something out of the game. So that's kind of how I feel sometimes when I watch us play. Like when we are playing the way we're supposed to play, right? It's hard to stop us, right? If for some reason, like you see teams like, all right, we're going to put 10 players behind the ball. We can't do that. That's not the way we play. Even if we try to, we can't. You see what happens right now when we're playing in our style. We still have lapses, right? Now you're telling me when we're trying to defend like that, we don't defend like that anyways. It would I think it upsets kind of the we're that I know when I was in on the track team, the coaches would come out and try to get these guys to I don't need you to go 100%. Can you just break it? Can you knock it down to 70%? Guess what? Those guys had 2 speeds, on, off. That's it. Only thing you could do is work on their technique. But in general, they were either going at 100 miles per hour or they were resting. You know what I mean? They weren't like doing it in between, getting a little jog in. And I feel like that's the way our team plays. That's why we need depth, because we burn these guys out the way we play. And when we try to take our foot off the gas, it doesn't work. So that's kind of how I felt about the way that the game went. We kind of try to take our foot off, and it just doesn't work for us sometimes. Was it biggest kind of here? Miles Lewis Kelly is being overshadowed by Yamal, and both are extremely integral to their teams. Oh yeah. Well, you know what? The attackers will always get the shine, right? I mean, that's going to happen no matter what. I mean, it's not a new thing. It's not a new thing at all. If he was out there scoring, and if he was out there kind of doing Rodri things where he's like scoring these goals that just get their teams ahead in games and stuff like that on top of his defensive work, it would look so different, right? But he's not he's not ready to do that yet, which is fine. But I just kind of feel like, you know what, that's okay, because Nweri will be right there pushing him along, and Saka will be right there. And whoever else we bring in, hopefully, will do that as well. Guess who joins us, folks? We got Why Not in the house. It says, big up to you, my man. But no, I know what you got. Yeah, Ross Lewis Skelly, I like him. Yeah, is he an 8? Is he a fullback? We shall see.
Maybe, Gary. We'll see. It is Arteta.
Yeah.
He likes good square pegs and round holes.
Yeah. Well, he has. I believe he should have a starting position, right? So
he should have.
Yeah.
He is Arteta.
Big up, Gary. Number, Disruptive Force, Bronco, and Tony. So yeah, he likes your stats. Basically, is what he's trying to say. I think, right?
Who? I think he's talking about you.
Is he talking about me? Number?
Yeah.
No, I don't. What does that mean?
Well,
Number destructive force.
Fortunately for us, we can ask him, and he can clarify.
I don't know what that meant. I thought he meant stats.
Gary, number, destructive force, Bronco, Tony. I mean, we could use some commas in here, and I'm not a grammar guy, trust me. Yeah, so here you go.
Numero uno. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, I mean, like I said, I'm not the most perfect grammar guy, but we could have used a couple commas somewhere in here.
No, cool.
It's okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. No, I
or at least with capitalization. He likes using the caps lock button.
Yeah. Now I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow for sure. Um, like I said, I try to usually find either a happy accident or he just does. He makes it easy on himself, right? Maybe he'll try something new and it works. Maybe he'll just go with what he knows and it works because it seemed And as you said, it would be nice to have a 2-goal lead going into that game in France, in Paris, for sure. Yeah, I think we do that. We'll be all right. I mean, even a 1-goal lead, I think we're still okay because I think we're solid defensively, and we will be able to get something on our attack as well, especially if we're fully healthy. And every day that goes by just means another day for like Ben White and either Calafiori to get healthy if that's Ben White was at practice today, so I'm assuming he's available to support.
At this point, would you want Calafieri or do you want a Tierney that's been healthy and been helping you the last month?
No, I'm just saying for a squad.
I want all three there.
I want. It's more about numbers with Calafiori. Is he starting for us now? No. I mean, he's not. He's not even a fullback. The man should be. He's like a carrier experiment. He's a center back, and he probably should be playing center back. He hasn't. He's not even had an opportunity to do that for Arsenal. But that's pretty much the role he had before he got here. Right. Same thing with Kirior. So, we just played. We put him in a spot, hoped it worked, and went from there. But no, I just it's for me. It's more about squad depth. Can he come in and give us 15 to 30 minutes in a game to see it out and stuff like that?
I want 5 options on the bench. That's what I want. 5 subs. I know we're going to have numbers that are going to fill out the team squad, but I want realistic sub options.
Yeah.
So Calafiore, I want him available. I really, like I said, I got to go back, and BX is just going to sit here and really make his head big. He's going to be like, look at Spencer agreeing with me. I do like that Tierney, a left back MLS, starting it in the midfield. I do like that because I know Tierney is going to be solid defensively and not be undisciplined.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, MLS at times, he can get caught out, even though I still think he's probably a better left back when it comes to doing stuff at times, especially on the ball and everything. I mean, Tierney's probably the best crosser we have at the club. That guy puts in a nice ball into the box. But they're different types of left backs, right? Different responsibilities. Tierney overlaps, whereas Miles Lewis-Skelly plays inside. I think you get the best out of Martinelli when you have Tierney playing too, because it allows Martinelli to cut in and play differently. So, I just want numbers at this point. I want everybody to be available. I tell you what I really want. If I was telling Santa Claus, hey, what do you want for Christmas? I want a 5-0 win tomorrow, a 5-0 win on the following week, and then a 5-0 win in the final, 15-0. Let's just call it a day. I don't care if people when we watch this game. I guess it's Memorial Day weekend usually for us. I don't care if they're entertained. I don't need you to be entertained. I want us to win. So.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. When people say, "Would you want to just keep winning the trophies every year?" I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah, absolutely.
Why wouldn't I want to do that? That sounds silly. Why would I want other people to get a chance? Screw that.
We have all supported
Pippen and Gordon. Jordan, do you want to win more? Of course we do.
Listen, we've all supported teams that have won championships, and we know what it feels like when they don't win again.
Yeah.
So it's like this weird, the Broncos went 8 years without the playoffs. I mean, Orlando, I'm never going to see them win one. Baltimore, that's not going to happen. Those ships have sailed. But like Clemson, like I'm not going to see that. But you know what I mean? Like there's things like you want to see more and more and more. And there's like that side of greed that just wants more. And yeah, I'd like to see Arsenal win 5 or 6, 7 Champions League in a row. Yeah, absolutely would love to do that. But we'll see. We'll find out tomorrow night.
Okay, can we give Spencer a drug test?
Why?
Because he's won these 5 meals. that he knows
You know what?
isn't gonna happen.
If he wants a 5-0 and then he doesn't get the 5-0, but all we do is win 3-0,
Yep.
3 games in a row, he'll be all right.
I-
It's like asking for that raise from your boss, right? You know the max is about 150. You're okay with about 130,
Yep.
but you put in the 140. Say that's you say you want about 140, and they go, well, all we can do is about 130, and you get your number anyways, right? So you're satisfied. The 140 would have been nice. The 150 would have been better, but you'll take the one. You'll take the one that you really wanted. Which for us right now, we just need to win 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. That's all we need. But you know what? I don't like that heartache or that heart
No.
pressure on me. So can we maintain a 2-goal lead in every match we play here on out?
Dude, it's a good question. 2 goals, I think so. Yes, I know it didn't come to fruition on last Wednesday, but I still think those players you'd love that score goals for Palace you'd like to have on your team at Arsenal. I think you would like an Eze, and I think you would like a Mateta as well.
Yep. Yeah.
If we're
Well,
honest.
Eze for sure. Mateta will, would he be like right now? We've got gotta find a place for. Hopefully, Gukares is the one person we bring in. But is Moreno a better inverted 9 than he is a
Inverted 9.
an 8 and
Inverted 9.
or whatever they call it.
No, I'm not making fun of you. I'm just like the football terms make me laugh sometimes.
Yeah.
Things that.
Well,
They
he's
come
not.
up
He's
with.
not a striker. So
Well, it's not.
So he does invert a little bit, right, from where his position.
I mean,
But,
he plays back. I don't know what's going to happen with Moreno. I've been very happy with. I think some people in our fan base were a little bit upset with when it didn't hit the ground running with him. And again, I think his age profile, 28, probably should expect immediate results at that age. Whereas, like, you bring Calafiori and he's 22. Okay, 22, still young. But he's shown that he's been worth it. I think he's been useful. If anything, he's a Swiss Army knife where he can be a really good finisher. He can play in the midfield.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a crazy shout if you think about his progression and what he's going to be at this club to sit here and say, okay, if we can extend Partey, which is the rumor that I've heard people saying that they want to try to extend Partey to a new contract, you bring in a Zubamendi, you've got Rice, you've got Odegaard, you've got Nweri. Does it become a thing where you're like, hey, Moreno, we want you to play up top, like with Georgis or what we talked last week where Havertz could end up at and everything, like if you change the formations and everything. So that is a really good thing to sit there and think about, what his progression is at this club going forward. A good problem to have. We'll see how they manage it, but in a perfect world for me, I would love to see Calafiori play his natural position, which is center back, and Kivior as well, and Gabriel Saliba, and then figure out the fullback position. I think we should be in the market for a fullback again. I know that's going to be triggering to some, but why not? I think Miles Lewis-Skelly's shown he can do it. You'd like to see him in the midfield. I think Tony probably agrees with that as well. But Timber,
you have Skelly, Timber.
Yeah, we need another. And here's the thing: I don't think it's crazy to think Tamiyasu could be potentially done.
I thought you got. I initially I thought you were going to be ambitious there, but yeah, like I don't think we can depend on his body anymore.
Not right now, at least.
Yeah, and even if we could depend on it, he's at the end of the bench. And if we get anything out of him, yay! But if we get nothing out of him, no loss because we weren't really depending on him. So,
go
ahead.
I want to sign Partey.
You want to.
Yes.
I do not want to.
Oh, you do not?
You don't want to. You don't want to. So tell me, who are you going to bring in that's a better box-to-box player than Partey is right now? Who would you be able to bring in who's a better box-to-box player than what you've seen from Partey this year?
Is he really a box-to-box guy, or do you
Whatever
want
he
him at
is,
6?
whatever. Okay, just replace Partey, bring in a player with similar skill sets and
Skelly,
roles.
Skelly, done.
He doesn't do that.
Skelly
I
can
don't-
do the
And
6.
He can do it, but he's not doing what Partey does. That's why I'm saying you're looking at potential, right? In my eyes, you're looking at potential. I'm talking about we got him right now. We don't have to let him go. We can give him that contract for a year or put the 1+1 kind of deal if that works out for him.
I would overpay this year to keep him.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yep.
So like for me, like I don't like we're at a point now where we don't need to be having to replace a Partey, is what I believe.
yeah, but if you play a Partey, you're usually replacing a Partey. What makes you think that he's 32, whatever he's gonna be, and not have any injury problems?
Well, he won't. Yeah, because That's why you want a bigger squad. So you want a Partey that you don't have to depend on to play. He's not playing 38 games anyways. Not next year. He's not playing 30. Like you bring in a Zubamendi, he might do a double pivot with Zubamendi. He might come in and do some games, right? We need to have a squad deep enough where our Partey comes off the bench for us. A Partey maybe plays in the cup matches for us. A Partey comes in and plays some of the early rounds of the Champions League, right? He doesn't have to play every game like he did this season. Like the amount of times that he's played as a right back, those are games that we don't play him. And then he comes back stronger each time, right? So I kind of felt like we need to. That's why we were talking about the numbers earlier. Partey keeps our numbers strong, and we don't have to lean on him like we did this season. He's not gonna wherever he goes. I believe he's not gonna be like an everyday starter for them. I believe. I don't think his body can hold up to that.
I just think you need to be looking for somebody else. And
No, yeah, but you don't let him go just because you're looking for somebody else. That's my thing. Like,
yeah, but
Zubamendi is supposed to be that guy anyways, right?
you have his history, Gary.
You what?
Yeah, you have his history. How many times has he played over 25 games?
Exactly. So then you keep him because you know the quality you're going to get when he
That's
does
why
play.
you don't keep him.
Like I said, the drop off from what he can give you to anybody else is significant. It's a big drop off. You're taking a risk you're not taking a risk. You're asking Skelly to try to be like him. He hasn't played. We haven't seen him play that role, right? I just like I said, I'd rather have more than less. I'd rather not let a Partey go and then go. All right, well now we're gonna test out someone. I'd rather have him there, and then we'll be even all the better for it. It's good to have more than less, Tony. We've been depleted a lot over the years,
But that's Arsenal's problem because.
So then, why would we let him go then? If that's our problem, that we don't have numbers.
Because you go out and give the people, you finally rely on your academy, which at some point you'd have to do.
Yeah, there's the only kid I see coming out of the academy now is Dowman, and he's not ready to come in right yet.
I think the Partey resign, not resign is an interesting discussion. I think about what's the future beings like. Okay, because here's where you don't resign Partey, Gary, is if you say, you know what, Rice, you played the 8 for us last year. We want you to play 6.
Yeah,
and that becomes when you let him go. And
that's why I would keep Partey so that Rice can get integrated into that 6 while you have Partey there.
I mean, Rice can do it.
I would have done it personally. I would have done it this year because then you would have had Rice playing as a 6 for, like, he's been here for how many years now, and we're still like, we were talking about this right months ago. What is he a 6 or is he an 8? Right. And now we're going to go, all right, well, you've been playing 8 for pretty much most of the time you've been here. Now you're going to play a 6. Will it work out immediately? I don't know. I just assume have Partey there.
I think you need to start thinking about cover at every position.
No, but we didn't do that. We have it's gonna take time. That's why you keep Partey. So
No, I mean,
you can't. One minute you say cover, and I say keep Partey, and it's like no, we let Partey go, and then
never.
no. I'm saying in general, you put like so that's why I want to keep it. I don't want to let quality out the door. Not anymore. We can't afford to do that. Somebody at a Partey level we're not bringing in. Experience wise, talent wise, we're not bringing that person in.
It's hard to say though, because
give me a name of a player you can bring in that does what Partey does.
Well, no,
it's hard to find those players, dude.
No, for me it would have been Rice playing the 6, but I mean I have to think around the league and everything.
Yeah. No, like I said,
I mean, okay, so you spend $10 million in wages, or you spend $45 million to bring another player in and another player on top of that.
And there's risk with that one as opposed to the 10, 15 that you pay for a Partey.
People's heads are going to explode when I say this, but I still think Havertz works in the midfield. I think the problem with that experiment during that time is Partey was playing at right back, and that screwed everything up.
Yeah, it didn't work for over half a season. So.
No, Partey at Rice, we won one of the 7-8 games he played.
Playing it right back.
It wasn't. It is what it is. That's what it was. That's why you know what he doesn't play in those games, or he plays in his role, right? Or you rotate Partey and Rice, and guess what? He doesn't play. He gets the day off that day, or he gets come in late. You know, I just feel like yeah. I mean that's you know this is another thing. Nope, none of you guys can tell me a player with the Partey skill set that
Did we need a scout to figure out Thomas Partey? Like
that's how easy it is sometimes, right? It's not always that easy, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think you're going to find it.
How many of the years that he's been there have we got the Partey that we thought we were buying?
That was
maybe a year and a half.
You think the injuries had something to do with that? Maybe that's why we didn't get to see him. Like we had some bad luck, right? Just like this season, we had some bad luck with injuries, right? That doesn't happen all the time, but when it happens, it happens. That's why you need support. That's why, like, yes, you let Partey go. You bring Rice in. You let him play the 6. What happens if he has problems?
Or you go get Bruno Guimaraes, which we've been.
You're reaching. You know you're reaching for that one, right? He's not getting sold.
I got a guy.
You're not getting
figured
sold.
It out.
He's not getting cold. Does Berta have this? Does Berta have the scouting resources? We'll find out, right? We'll find out.
Easy day.
Yeah. And you know why I don't usually agree. I mean, and why not? Rice isn't at Partey level yet. He does a lot of stuff, but some of the stuff that Partey does, Rice doesn't do.
Yeah, but Partey can score.
A lot of the stuff that
Rice
does,
can score. Partey cannot score.
I don't need Partey to score for me. Actually, I don't care if he scores. He does all that. What he does well is really good for us. So that's like saying Sleeper doesn't score for us. I don't care because I don't need him to score for us to win games. You know what I mean? Gabriel's scoring was a bonus on top of all the good stuff he does.
Calvin
right?
Phillips, that's our answer.
Calvin Phillips. That sounds like you just like Now, Tony, you want to take that drug test? You got it right there. Hand it up. Hey, give it to him.
There you go.
Yeah, give it to him. You think Calvin Phillips?
So
what has Calvin Phillips done in the year since he left Leeds that you would go? Guess what? Yes. Or is it not Leeds? That you would go, yeah. No, it was Leeds. Tell me what he's done that you go, yes. That is a player with the skill set that I need.
Well, I heard he's really good at eating Twinkies, is what I've heard.
Yeah, I don't. Why not? Once again, why not? And I are on the same page here. Whatever this means
everybody knows I was joking about Calvin Phillips, right? I mean,
no, I believe you because
you guys really believe that.
You don't fake here. You usually tell the truth and what you're.
Oh no, I was definitely fake, guys.
I
I'm in team.
No,
Listen, hold on.
take
I'm
the
in
L,
team
take
resign
the-
Thomas Partey. That's the
take
team I'm on.
take the
I
L.
I made an argument that maybe what is the downside of letting him go? I'm playing both sides of the field here on this one,
Yeah.
but there's no way I would absolutely want Calvin Phillips. You're
Yeah.
hot. Come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah, no,
I know I did it as a dig at Tom.
Tony wants to get rid of Partey, and I think he's
Believe me.
crazy for it. So yeah,
I just wish Tom was still here to hear that comment.
yeah.
There's no way I would
he's-
ask for Calvin
Got
Phillips.
Bargav in the house. Thanks for joining us, Bargav. No, like I said, we're at a spot now where we can't be letting talents like oh, Tyler Adams when he was healthy. If he brought him in, he would be really nice to have behind the Rice for sure. But like I said, I don't want to see talents that have played this well for us just walk out the door. Like we should be selling Partey, not like risking that he's going to walk out for free. That's remember back in the days when we had players that were like just get out. Right? Partey isn't one of those players, right?
So here's the thing also with this. If you're trying to finish the job, shall we say, and you're looking at, hey, let's just say we get lucky and we win the Champions League this year. All right. And they're like, all right, let's really go after this league this year. Then you definitely, I think you can make an argument for we're gonna pay a little bit more for Thomas Partey. He's going to play 30 league games, 10 Champions League games, whatever. We'll figure out who the other 6 is, if it's Zubamendi, whoever. And then you go from there. And I think you don't – I mean, I think you can potentially move on for some people, but I think at this point you're going to have to – if you're looking at moving on for people, it's like people like Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko. You're not really looking to move on for Thomas Partey, if I'm honest. So – again, you're going to probably have to potentially overpay to keep them. But if you look at it from what a transfer fee and a wages would cost you to bring someone else new in, if you put those two comparatively together, it's probably worth bringing them back.
Yeah, think about it. I keep going back to this. The $20 million that they didn't want to pay for Ollie Watkins, you probably get that money back if you make it to a final in one of the domestic cups, along with having a solid team that goes into the Champions League, right? You probably make up the money really quickly, and then then you decide what you want to do after that. But I'm not a money man. So,
well, no, it's all about setting yourself up for success. And again, there's a lot of money wrapped up in a Gabriel Jesus, and he's not going to play again. When did he blow his knee out? Was it December?
In November supposedly is when he's supposed to come back.
So again, you're looking at November. I mean, even then, if he's back to 100%.
He's not playing until the new year, essentially.
Yeah, I mean that's really.
Yeah.
I mean, again, winning the league is way different than winning a cup. I don't know, man, but I'm in team resign Thomas Partey. I've always been.
We need and that's why I'd rather have the numbers, because the numbers allow us to compete on multiple fronts. Because the drop off isn't significant if you told me, Rice is going to start predominating most of your Premier League matches, or Zubamendi or whoever, and Partey is going to start a third of those matches plus whatever, and then if you do have injury concerns, whatever like that, then you have a solid backup, that can come in and play. I just feel like why not? Why wouldn't you want to do that?
So again, this is the thing to think about here too. You're selling a project to people. If you win the Champions League, how easy is it to sell to Partey and guys like that to stay? And I mean by that is like, Man City, like Jack Grealish. How often does he really play? Still a good player, but he doesn't play that often, right? So, I mean, like you need players that are going to help you tick that box.
Yeah, but he'll be like I get that. Right now,
we need
you don't know if he's going to drop off. You don't, but I just know that the talent's there now. And if I guess you're taking a risk, but you're taking a risk bringing somebody in. Yeah.
So here's what you do. Here's where you need to look at this. We need at least, to me, a fullback, two fullbacks, right and left back, 2 center backs. That's your 8 defenders right there. You got 3 midfielders you play with. I need 2 or 3 backup midfielders. And then I need also 3 three or four people backing up people up top too, and that means people that I'm sitting here saying, hey, I'm putting in X in for Y, and you're like, okay, not where it's like, hey, we got to play Sterling today. That's where I want to see that next level.
If we're bringing in 9 players, we're not. I don't see that happening.
Well, no, you're
But-
not bringing in 9 players, Gary. You're keeping people.
Okay.
If I'm
all right.
keeping Partey, if I'm keeping Trossard and saying, look, I know Trossard, you're probably close to the end. I'm never going to get the money I paid for you back, but I'm going to use you until you're done.
Yeah.
And then you add, you see what I mean? So you're adding players, but you're keeping stuff. You're not bending people off and saying, well, we need to improve over Trossard. You still could use a Trossard.
Well,
There's
no,
value
you
added.
don't necessarily improve on a Trossard. You just bring somebody in that pushes him off the bench. That's really
a different option.
So the teams are playing this PCL with belief and confidence. The mentality levels up is real. Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. We failed on replacing an average midfield pad, say we will screw up the Partey situation. Well, so far it sounds like we are. The communication, it sounds like that's coming out is that we are looking to re-sign him. So I personally would have been thinking about that a long time ago. I didn't need to wait. I didn't need to wait. Like the fact that halfway through the season we knew Partey was going to play 6 for us, and like our 6 or D or box to box or what CDM or whatever you want to call him, Rice Partey was going to play in that position. All right, we knew this. At that point, I'm already like, yeah, he's not going anywhere. Because this is what we wanted to get out of him. We're getting it now. We're not doing a Xhaka thing again. All right. We finally get him playing well, and then all of a sudden we're just gonna let him go. Nah. And it's a little different situation because he was gonna leave the season before, but this one he wasn't gonna leave the season before, so you just keep him. It should be an easier sell than the Xhaka one.
But how do you just come up with this idea in the last 2 weeks?
Not in the last 2 weeks. Have you not watched Partey all season? Have you not watched?
I'm saying Arsenal. Their deal was he's leaving at the end of the season.
We don't even know if that's the problem, though. I don't know if that's real.
I would say so, Gary.
You don't know if it's real or if it's people making speculations like that happens all the time, right? Supposedly Saliba was leaving, and right now nobody thinks that's happening, right? Remember that Saliba was gone, right? Saliba was leaving. Remember that? Now people don't think. No, now people aren't thinking that right now, right? So I kind of felt like, unless it's somebody from Arsenal saying it, you can't really 100% agree with, believe it. It's a lot of people pushing messages out there with no backup, no solid info, at least in what I feel. So. And like I said, I felt like Partey, based on the way he's been playing, because this is what they wanted. They would have known this going into the season that he was healthy, and this is what you're going to get out of him. We're getting what we wanted out of him. So yeah, hold on to that guy. Hold on to him, even if you have to bring him off the bench. Why not? If he can start for you, perfect. Yeah.
I just think he's going to be misused like Jorginho was this year. He could have helped you earlier in the season, and it was like almost 3 months into the season before.
Who is he gonna bump? You mean Rice? Is that what he was gonna bump Rice?
You have to rest people, Gary.
No, but when we you know what? Like I just told you, the reason why we didn't rest Partey is because we didn't have a right back. Those are the time, and like for me, we didn't really have that 8. Yeah, I don't know about you guys. You guys unconvinced by Gyökeres?
I'm slightly concerned about the league. I don't watch him play, but we need to bring someone in.
You saw him play against Arsenal, and you saw him play against our healthy center backs. Did he not look like a player that can hold up in a Premier League against Premier League defensive backs, center backs?
It's hard to say.
He played as easy as we beat them.
I don't think he's
when he had an opportunity, he took it, and he looked all right.
My whole thing would be, again, I still want someone that's from this league. I want to bring in 2. So yeah, bring Yorkis in. That's fine. That's fine. Just get me someone that's in the league too.
Gukares is your number one. You bring him in.
Do what?
If Gukares, if you're bringing him in, he's
Yeah.
your number one. So
why can't I buy a striker for someone else?
you
in
can
the
buy
league?
whatever you want. But like I'm just saying, we bring him in. He's the number one. And then like if they're gonna like, you're gonna bring in somebody else to play behind Gukares.
Yep.
So where does Kai Havertz play?
Midfield.
Where?
you said
No,
it,
because
Jimmy.
I've seen him in midfield. I hated it.
I already told you. I told you why you hated it.
Why did I hate it? Can I tell me
Because
again?
Partey was playing the right back position. His stats were really good in the midfield.
He wasn't
He was-
playing right back the whole first.
You're telling me every time
7 months of the season.
every time that Havertz played in the midfield, because he came in the midfield.
Gary,
For
people had
Erdegaard,
an
he didn't come-
agenda against Kai Havertz when he showed up. He couldn't do anything right for some people. It's just a fact.
No, he's not
People didn't want him.
clinical. He's not a striker, right? All right. I don't think he's the way we were playing him in midfield wasn't working. So I'm like, where do we get the best out of him? Is he giving us 15 goals from where?
He would have given you 15 goals from the striker percentage if he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, no, but he's not a striker, so he should be, a striker should be getting us 20.
Well, when was the last time we had a 20-goal striker? It'd be Obama.
When we had a striker, when we actually had a legit striker, that's when we had a 20-goal scorer. A legit striker. That's when it happened. You know his name. We haven't had a striker since. We still don't have a striker now.
I mean, it depends.
No, we haven't. What striker have we actually brought in? We haven't brought in any.
Well, no, I'm just thinking this. I'm not talking about that. I'm making a depends comment on where I would put Havertz at this point. I still like him as a 9. I still like him in the midfield.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to get Cunha. That's probably not going to happen. I know Sam's not a big fan of Cunha. I like the lap from Ipswich. Trying to think of anybody else that I really like.
Now I don't know how much does the lap cost to bring in, but how much does he
they're
cost?
getting relegated, so there's that aspect of it, right? He's just, to me, he's a younger profile of a guy you could bring in. He might be fine just getting one. It might be fine getting Yorkis and saying, look, Havertz and Moreno, you guys are the backups, and we still have Jesus. Because remember, Jesus is still on the roster, even though you can't rely on him until November, maybe New Year's. I don't know. If you're going to buy 2, I think you have to buy another attacking player that plays the wing position.
We should be bringing 3 attackers in and take Wary and push him to midfield. That's what we should be doing. That's what we should be doing. If you're thinking about bringing in another player from the Premier League, they're going to be playing behind one of our starters, right?
Yeah,
why can't they be playing either behind our starting left or right wing, right?
However you want him to go.
So like Eze comes in, right? Where does he go? He plays on the, what does he play on the left side, I think? Or he can switch sides, I think, but
I think he can push Martinelli to the bench.
No. Martinelli isn't one of our starters next year if we have our way, Tony. Havertz is not one of our starters if we have our way next year, Tony. Saka's the only one from the front line.
Don't tell Arteta that.
No, but that's how it should be. You're not bringing a Gyökeres in and sitting him, right? If we're really looking at a Gyökeres, he's not sitting, so that means Havertz is not playing in the 9, right? You bring in a William, if that's what the people are saying to Williams, right? Nico Williams, then he's not sitting, right? You bring in one of these players from the Premier League, maybe they sit, but are they going to want to sit when they just would lead their teams up and down the field? That's the other part to that. We fit the 90-minute mark. We probably could talk for a very long time on this one. But
we went 2 hours last week, so we could.
I have to. I know I can't do that today. I need to
I need some
Need-
sleep myself.
we need to shut this thing down a little bit. We could go, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. See, the way that Moreno is seizing his opportunity is remarkable. His hunger and desire are evident in his gameplay. Yeah. I mean, I think the reason why is as Spencer said, he's 28 years old and he's professional. He comes in there, he does his job, wherever that is. I think that's what Rice is. Rice is that Henderson type player. You just play him anywhere. He's gonna get you something, no matter whether it's in or out of his role. Right? You're not taking a step back when you put him on the pitch.
But I still think you have to find his role.
Yeah. Marcus Rashford. He's coming off the bench for us, right? He's not starting for us because
No.
you know what I mean. I don't. No, I mean, like I said, maybe you bring him in later in the window, but I just can we just bring in 2 starters on the front line, please?
I just don't want any more rejected attackers than arrivals.
Yeah, no, we need to bring in some attackers that push people to the bench, and Gukors does it. I think Nico Williams does it. I think any other right winger will do that we bring in if they're from the Premier League. Perfect. You don't need to worry about that part.
I just wish like 80% of our players could be from the Premier League instead of looking abroad.
For some reason, I feel like it costs more.
England tax.
Yeah, I think it costs more.
My only issue with Yorkis is plays in the Portuguese league. That's the only issue, and I don't know how good that is. I'm okay with signing them. I have my reservations.
Yeah.
Fabio Vieira turned out to be somewhat of a flop. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just kind of like, I'd much rather go.
Fabio was not playing at the level that you're comparing apples to oranges to me, because you're looking at a player who's dominating his league as opposed to a player who just got into a starting role when we brought him in. Not the same. Not the same.
The Timo Werner was dominating the German league. All these players were dominating these different leagues. Timo Werner and all and then it came into England and just flopped.
No.
I'm not sitting there saying he's going to be a flop. I'm cautiously I'm just semi-worried about it.
Yeah.
But we're going to we'll spend 80-90 million on it. Sorry, Tony, just let me finish one point. We're going to spend 80-90 million on it, and then after 3 games he doesn't bin a goal, and we're going to have people sign a striker. You just signed a $90 million one, so what are you going to do now? Yeah. And then I don't know. Like I said, I'm cautiously. Am I being pessimist? Probably. Go ahead, Tony.
I think we've shook that Portuguese tree as much as we can. The player that would actually help us plays the way Arteta wants to. Good at going forward. Up in the top of Europe as assist. And he has this weird buyout clause. Not sure if he's leaving or not, the way that's set up. But
you're talking about Nuno Tavares?
And I'm talking about Tavares.
He ain't he's not going to work for us. Not the way we play. Like he has to be really good at what he does up there offensively. He's not.
He is. Yeah. How's not leading and being up there in Europe?
He's not going to be doing that in the Premier League, at least in my eyes, based on what we saw. He might just be in the right level where he needs to be. That's what I feel. Yeah.
So again, I say after seeing Tierney play again for this team, never say never. I mean, legitimately, I'm on Tony's side on this one. I'm not saying that Tavares is the answer. I'm just saying it's not insane to think he plays for Arsenal again.
I'm not saying he doesn't, but I don't think he's the answer for our wing problem.
I mean, we don't know what
he's not playing fullback for us, right? He's not doing the defensive work that's required of him for Arsenal, right?
Well, yeah, if you're going to play
he's not deceiving Timber, White, Miles Lewis, Skelly, even Tierney. If Tierney stayed, right, he's not deceiving those players, right? So for me, he's got to play wing, and he's not a wing for us.
Well, the wing players at Arsenal are expected to play defense. 100%.
and he can't play defense. So then
Well,
what
they're
do we?
expected at bare minimum to fall back to help out
Yeah.
defensive support.
Yeah,
Like that's
he's got
100%
defensive
fine.
frailties on him, and that we know of.
Yeah.
One last thing before we let everybody have their say. Positions ideally to be filled: paid transfer, free agent, left wing, striker. I think 2 strikers, a right wing, center mid. You got 3 center mids there. Okay, I think that's what that is. A left back if Tierney is sold. Tierney is. I think
He's going
I
on
don't
free.
think he's sold. I think he's walking for free. I think his contract's up.
I think
2
realistically,
left backs. You're
striker-
saying okay, and then a goalkeeper.
well, no. I mean, I'll keep what's his face for another year. You're looking at probably a striker, probably a forward wing player, a midfielder, and maybe a fullback. You're looking at 4 this summer, I think.
And we need it's not going to be 4 because we know we need a goalkeeper, so it'll be at least 5. But I'm thinking we need 6. So I hear what you're saying, but
I don't think we'll sign 6 players. It'd be crazy.
we need to sign the 6.
I think we will because we're going to be.
With players going out the door, you're gonna have you're gonna replace Jorginho with Zubamendi. All right, Gukores comes in because that's what you need. You need a left wing. All right, you need a goalkeeper. You're still gonna need a left back. All right, you're gonna need possibly a center back maybe. You're gonna need another midfielder. All right.
Well,
And,
I don't know how they sign that many at
and
once.
8. They can do it. They just have to plan it out. That's why you got Berta in there. I mean, we signed 5 players in a window. What were you saying we can't do
that's what
6?
I think the max is we're going to sign is 5.
Yeah, and 5 doesn't give us that because we know we have to get a goalkeeper. So we need 5 field players that play out in the field.
Did you loan another keeper from another league?
Well, no, we're not loaning. I don't know what they do, but the way that they handled the last one, I don't want. We're not loaning a goalkeeper because last time we did that, we ended up we loaned 2 players and we had no ability to make any movement in the January window. We're not loaning anybody. No, I'm trying to say no to the loan. Loaning a goalkeeper. No, just put Setford in if you're really felt like you're gonna do that. Bring Setford in and let him get his time. All right.
I mean, I don't want to spend money on a goalkeeper this summer. I just don't. Yeah. I want to spend money on forward players, midfielder.
You wasted the time with the goalkeeper you got. I would have been better if they just bought in John Garcia, whatever. I believe that's his name. So I'll let everybody have their say. We're going to get out of here. So Tony.
Yes.
We are going to head out of here. So I'm going to let you have your say. Tell the people what you want them to hear.
I want to win against PSG. I still think they'll be kind of seeking vengeance since they weren't jailed, had the loss to us. They're a lot better team now than they were then. So I think we will have our hands full, but I think we can win it because we always got the defense to rely on. But hopefully they play open enough where we can counter them and get them that way.
They might have to because they're not going to get much. They might not get much from us defensively. So I might have to open themselves up a little bit. No, I think why not just try to get Tierney, get him to resign it. I don't know if he's signed it already to go, but Tierney staying would be cool. But I don't, I think he's been professional. It's a health thing for me as well, right? Is he going to be able to last in a season? I mean, the reason why we have him back with us, right? Because he had injury concerns, right? So I don't know if that one would work. Anything else, Tony, before you say bye?
No, glad my Thunder advanced to the next round of the playoffs.
Yeah, Thunder looked really good. I mean, they won by like 40 or something like that first game. So
55, I believe.
55, yes. And right now, my Heat are losing by 46.
There you go. Sounds like super competitive. Great.
Yeah,
great sporting event.
I think they got to second guess themselves on this play-in thing. I mean,
Yes.
this playing thing is not bringing in quality playoff games. I mean, your number one seeds are just destroying the worst teams that are coming out. You know, that playing game, those playing games. I mean, both the Heat and Oklahoma and Cleveland are just running away with it.
So you're
you
not
know.
entertained, is what you're saying, Gary?
Nobody's. I when they let Butler go, and I was like, well, you let go one of your better players, even though he was never healthy for a year. You're gonna have
I,
problems.
I don't understand the point of having the in-season tournament than having these play-in games. One of the above would be enough.
You understand though, right? Why we
Mhm.
have it, right?
Money, Gary.
Yeah, everything's about the moolah, man. Yeah.
Which is so surprising. It's like if you look at like the top 30 professional athletes, almost all of them are NBA, and that doesn't include their endorsements and stuff.
True. Yeah, well, there's only 12 of them, and they get a lot of TV time. So there you go. Tony, quick prediction for tomorrow.
1-1.
1-1. You're all right, Spencer. Before you give your prediction, and then tell me what you're thinking.
3-0, man.
There you go.
3-0 Arsenal.
Cool. I'm saying 2-0. I just wanted a 2-goal lead, 3-1. Spencer, tell me. We're heading out. What you got to say?
Oh, enjoy tomorrow. Soak it all in. Try to focus at work tomorrow, even though you probably won't be able to. I did take off an hour early so I can make it home to watch the game. So there is that. I'll probably hop on the bike and bike the whole game so I don't have a heart attack, but whatever.
That might give you a heart attack.
It might. I tell you what, I did do one time. I was on there and I was really concerned about the heart rate monitor. I had to get off of it, but it was a big match. I think it was a City game. I biked that second half of the City game, and that was a dumb mistake. But we're okay. I'm young enough. I can handle it. But yeah, enjoy your week, guys. It's good to see everybody. And just don't waste the trip. Enjoy the journey, and don't try for ties. There we go.
There you go. No, I see. Why not? He's saying if we get a draw, I don't think it's because we get a draw we're gonna lose. Everybody's been saying we're gonna get pumped every game we played, and unless you watch something I haven't, our defense is pretty solid. We haven't been getting pumped all season. Unless you're telling me we're gonna lose everybody in the back line, I don't think that's gonna happen.
We haven't given up more than 2 goals a game this whole season. Like this whole getting pumped thing, to me, it's the negativity people that are just pushing that narrative because they kind of want to see it happen.
Yeah, no, we've got one thing that we can lean on, the defense. We should lean on it and expect it to perform every week, which it so far has done. All right, anything else, Spencer?
No, thanks for having me on, Gary. It's good to see you, Tony.
Cool, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Yes, I am looking forward to the game tomorrow. I'm hoping in where he gets some minutes. However that happens, maybe he can even contribute and wake up Arteta and give him something more to think about. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to the game. I think defensively, I think we can give ourselves the amount of time and space that we need to get something out of this thing. Like I said, 2-0, 3-1 for me, 2-goal lead, going back to France. If you haven't already, hit the like, subscribe. We will see you on the next one. By then, we will have played one game. I think we have a game. Do we have a game this weekend? We play Bournemouth. So by the time we play again, we will play 2 games. Hopefully, we've got 2 wins, and then we'll go from there. But thank you again for joining us. We'll do this again, and I appreciate you. Why Not's got a 2-1 win for us. Yep, I'll take the 2-1 win, but I like a 2-goal lead. So hopefully, worst case scenario, 2-1. And we'll see you guys on the next one, everybody. We are out.
Life is a journey. Don't waste your trip. Enjoy the ride.